big cloud. Okay, cool. You guys, welcome. Happy Thursday. Got a couple people here in person. We have some more on Zoom, which I love. So I'm going to try to talk to you people. A second. Hope you need to be muted there. There we go. So I'm going to try to talk to you guys and engage you as much as possible, Wolf, but please help remind me and excuse me if I've got my back to the camera, right? This is one of my favorite topics, you guys, and you'll probably learn why, especially after we go through this course. So learning the DiSC and going through the DiSC. What is the DiSC? We're going to talk about what it is. Where did it come from? We're going to learn a little bit more about ourselves. And in my opinion, most importantly, we're going to learn more how to communicate to others, particularly our clients and loved ones and people around us, to make sure that we're achieving the best result between our communications. Okay, cool. So let's talk about the DiSC. I'm also letting people in the Zoom room, so please be patient with me. Got it. So let's talk about the DiSC. So Mohammed just asked the age-old question, what does DiSC stand for? So the DiSC itself is a DiSC assessment that was created, it was back in the 1920s. That's how long this assessment has been around. And to be plainly put and simply put, this is an assessment that tells us about personality and communication. Okay, when it was originally created by William Marston, that was created, it was really developed to help be a tool for us to grow teams and build our businesses. So it was created for that exact purpose and to better understand our communication. It's important to understand that DiSC is a non-judgmental way to be able to discuss behavioral differences. Remember, there is no right or wrong category that somebody goes in. Okay, there's not one category that is better than the other. But there are certain jobs and certain characteristics that are going to place us into those individual categories. Okay. So yeah, these perceptions are perceptions of the environment and situations, more importantly, where those environments and situations actually are with respect to how people react to them, right? When we're using the DiSC and we're understanding the DiSC, it's about saying, here's the situation that I could be in the field, what I could be in conversationally, and what can I do to help make sure that we're achieving a positive result or an outcome. Okay, so I think that one's really interesting. Next slide. Great. So the DiSC model provides a common language that people can use to better understand themselves and to adapt their behaviors with others. This can be within a work team, a sales relationship, a leadership position, or other relationships. So DiSC profiles help you and your team increase your self-knowledge, how you respond to conflict, what motivates you, and what causes stress and how you solve problems. Do we ever encounter problems in the real estate industry? Never. Never, right? Everything runs so smoothly. Surprisingly, each DiSC profile is going to react to certain conflicts and problems in a different way. Not knowing how somebody's natural style is not going to prepare you to prepare them for what's coming. A common one we're seeing right now is talking about the market. If you're talking to a seller and setting expectations about the trend that the market is going in, how do you tailor your vernacular to their specific perception style? Okay, we're going to learn that today. Facilitate better teamwork and minimize team conflict. Nobody likes team conflict. This is a great resource as well between your colleagues. If you guys have a team, if you work with a team, if you work on a team, remember your team can even be your lender, your home warranty person, your TC. Those people are a team. So ultimately, this is something that you can apply to that as well. Agents who are the most versatile, aka changing and shifting your behavior with your colleagues and your clients, are going to make the most money. Why do we think that is?
Because they're able to adapt to different personalities.
Have you ever met someone where you're like, their personality is just not for me?
We had a double D. My daughter's a double D. And we talk about it all the time.
I love that. I love that. But you encounter those people and immediately you're turned off. Imagine the realtor who never puts that client in that situation. Where your client needs you, your potential client needs you, and they immediately have something that they can connect with and understand. Okay, that's what we have to focus on. And again, ultimately, that's going to lead us to more money. Something so simple actually isn't in practice.
When we can mirror them.
Yes,
Yeah.
we can mirror that, right? I love that. Let me let someone in. Okay, great. So what does DiSC stand for? We're going to break down each one of the profiles here in later slides, but plainly simple, DiSC as 4 different categories, as if a circle was separated into 4 pieces, right? The first category is dominance, driver. It's called multiple things, usually dominance, driver, direct, any of those things. Those are those Ds, right? Their characteristics of a D, they're driven, they're ambitious, they're strong-willed, right? Those are your D driver personalities. People who have a high D, those words describe. People who have a low D tend to be described as unobtrusive, cautious, and agreeable. Okay, some of the famous high Ds are Gordon Ramsay, right? He's pretty direct. Steve Jobs, Kanye West, LeBron James, and Christian Bale. Right, these are some famous high Ds. Influence or influencer, that stands for the I, right? I's characteristics, people who have eyes are enthusiastic, warm, and persuasive. People who have low I are more logistical. They're more matter of fact and they're more incisive. Okay, famous high I's are people like Angelina Jolie, Taylor Swift, Jimmy Fallon, Kelly Ripa, Kurt Warner. Or influencers. Okay, S stands for steadiness. People with high S's are loyal, relaxed, passive, and patient. People with low S are impulsive, eager, flexible, and restless. Famous S's are Brad Pitt, Aaron Rodgers, Dr. Drew. Yeah, I love Dr. Drew. Scarlett Johansson and Carrie Underwood. Okay. Compliance or conscientious or conscious, right? All the C's stand the same thing. These are our detail-oriented people. They're conventional and they're exacting, our high C's. Okay. Our low C's are arbitrary, unbending, and unsystematic. Famous high C's, no surprise here, like Neil deGrasse Tyson, right? He's famous high C. James Franco, Bill Belichick, right? Ariana Huffington, and Martha Stewart. They're all C's. Great. So let's break this down even further. Now that we've just got a bird's eye view of what that is, I just wanted to show you, because after hearing some of those words and who they are and what they describe, I'm sure certain people pop into your head around the life you live, right? Your loved ones and people like that. Let's look at a global view of statistically where most people fall in the world, okay? So the latest time this study was done in 2019, I'm guessing the pandemic threw a wrench in the DiSC mapping process, but the last results we have are from 2019, right? So globally, if you look at the different categories, the D, the I, the S, and the C, the highest part of the world falls actually in the S category, okay? 32.2% of people globally. The next one is our C category, which is 30.4%, again, back in 2019. The I's are the third highest, which are 28.4%. And then the lowest amount, surprisingly, is our true D's, which is only 9% of the world. Okay, you can see here on that top chart globally, it spans from 2019 back to 2006. Isn't it interesting to see what rose and what fell based on the eras and the times they started taking this, right? Break it down even further. The chart right below actually goes by age. So these are people that are the different years that they were born and under. So they're in this little category, this little bubble. The D goes up, the older people get. I thought that was interesting. Right?
Interesting.
Very interesting. Look at the I and the S were the highest categories, slightly off for people in that age range. Both super high. But then we look into the people that are younger, we see more steadies. We see more conscientious people. Interesting, right? I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, globally, the population is constantly changing. So obviously these numbers change, but especially strong has been the decrease in the dominant D worldwide in the population. So you're talking about those double Ds? That's probably a very rare diamond in the field.
She is a rare
See
diamond.
that?
I tell you,
Yes.
I saw her. I was telling her,
Sure.
Renee, you're a double D. She goes, yeah.
I love that. Any insights or ahas from these charts?
Now we're talking about, let's say, the high Ds and low Ds in that category, the high Is and the low Is.
Okay, say that again.
Like in the previous chart, you talked about high Ds and low Ds,
Mhm.
high Is and low Is.
Mhm.
So this is reflecting both. Right?
This is going to reflect the highest, most dominant characteristic, right? So when you go to take the assessment, the DiSC assessment, you're getting assigned or placed into two categories. You're really ranking on where you fall on the charts in all four categories, but you always tend to have one that's dominant, is what it's called. Yeah, you're dominant. And then your secondary trait, most people have two, or anything above the median line when it goes to the middle percentage of all of the four quadrants, right? So most people are a combination of something. They're a DI, an ID, an SC, a DS, right? And so this is measuring just the main dominant category that people are in, again, worldwide. That was a good question. Cool. Great. So let's break them down. So now that we know that there are four categories that people can go into, we're going to break down what each one of those categories looks like a little bit further and apply it to some of our vernacular and things that we hear in the field, right? So D, you're going to see it stated as direct, driver, dominant. It all means and stands for the same thing, right? People with the D style place an emphasis on shaping the environment by overcoming opposition to accomplish results, right? Our D drivers of the world are our people that stand up. They tend to be our leaders. They tend to be the people that you will see dominate a conversation. They want things done and they want it done fast. There are what's the bottom line people. Okay? These are our people when we can use 10 words to describe something about a house. They really want it in 1 or 2. These are so fast paced. They're driven, they're direct, they're decisive, very strong willed. These are going to be your people that are going to dig their heels in the ground when you're trying to talk them into doing something. It has to be their idea.
I noticed that most of the doctors and attorneys that
Yes.
I worked for were high Ds.
Yes.
They didn't want a whole lot of information,
Yes.
direct, quick, fast.
Why? They have to be so focused. Right? To become a doctor, it takes years of schooling and dedication and confidence. These are confident people. They're the ones that have the swagger, right? They're the ones that have the swagger. Again, they're very fast paced. These are always going to try to hurry you up. You're talking too slow. They want to get this done and they want to move on. They want the house yesterday. They want the house sold tomorrow. You know, they're going to be the ones that want it done.
I like working with the Ds.
Yeah.
The engineer type person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
So again, our goals with our D is that we want to help them get to the bottom line. Ds are motivated by winning, competition, and results, right? These are the people and our clients that are going to feel good about themselves when their offer was won over 30 offers. They're going to have some type of completion or fulfillment by that, right? They're going to feel like they won when they got a discount on the purchase price.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Use their competitiveness to your advantage. Okay? They value competency, concrete results, and personal freedom. Do not try to hover on a D, right? Do not make them feel like you're micromanaging them. These are your people that you will send them a contract. You will say, here's your contract. Let me know if you have any questions and I'll get back to you. Trust me, they will go through it. Trust me, they will ask questions when they have questions. But if you say, let's go over this line by line, your Ds are going to be ready to run out that door. Yep. Right? Trust me, they will be confident and competent enough to be able to ask questions to you. So D styles and their priorities, I have this, with the D, you'll see in here the secondary, I threw in there the little secondary characteristics. Again, lots of people are usually a combination of two. So you're going to see the DCs. We haven't gone into C yet, but they're going to be conscientious, right? They're going to like the challenge. They're going to want results and they're going to want to be very accurate. That's really going to drive them underneath there. The DIs are going to be more action, results, and enthusiastic. Words to help describe them. So again, ways to communicate or be like them, because we talked about Olga, we want to mirror our conversation and mirror our body language. We're going to give them the bottom line. Don't sugarcoat things. Don't use superfluous words like superfluous when you're talking to them and having a conversation. Be brief and speak up. Be loud. Be confident. If you're someone who doesn't have that natural ability or tend to feel that way, these will not respect you. Work to overcome that. Speak louder. Speak up, right? Focus your discussion narrowly. Avoid making generalizations. That's a big one, okay? Don't generalize things. Don't say things like, I hear my clients say, right? Because to them, who is these clients? Hypothetical, or everyone says. People have said, don't use generalization words when you're talking with a D, right? Okay, refrain from repeating yourself. Focus on solutions rather than problems, right? So what's a scenario with a D where we could focus on solutions and rather than problems that we would encounter in the real estate industry? So let's say you have a property and you have a listing, it's an escrow. Something happened to the electrical box. Okay, blew up, blew fuse, whatever. Your potential buyer and our listing or buying agent is a D. You're the listing agent. What I'm going to do is I'm going to call the D. And I'm going to say, hey, D, buyer's agent. I know that we're in escrow. Something happened with the fuse box, right? Went kaput, right? I've already sent out an electrician that I've used in many circumstances. He's identified the problem and says it's XYZ. We're going to be in to fix it by tomorrow and it's not going to be a problem. The day after tomorrow, if you're free, I want you to come in, take a look at it and make sure the work is up to your standards. Would you agree or disagree? Right, direct. I don't pull the D buyer's agent and say, hey, so Mr. Buyer's agent, something's going on with the electrical box. Not really sure what's going on. That D buyer's agent is going to feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then guess what they're going to do? They're going to try to drive the situation. So then the D is going to say, oh, don't worry about it. You know what? I've got an electrical person that I send out. And it's going to be great. And I'll give them a call. And then they forget to call. And then they don't send them out. And then nothing's happening. Right? So that's an example of a situation where you can help tailor something negative, provide solutions and results, not a problem to the team. Yeah. Questions?
Call only when you have your plan.
Call only when you have your plan. Good description.
Comment. Or they could call and the electrician could be extremely expensive.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. Then they control. But remember, the point is the D will say, hey, problem, let's run through it. I'm going to solve it. Everyone get out of the way. Right? They're not going to trust you to do your job. They want to do it. They're going to drive right through. Okay? Next one, our eyes or our influencers, right? These are the social butterflies of the world. Our eyes are our peopleiest people persons. Okay? Eyes is the communication style or influence or influencer that puts an emphasis on shaping the environment by influencing or persuading others. Okay? Our eyes say words like, I'm feeling this way. I don't like the vibes.
I like the energy.
I like the energy.
Yeah.
I don't think that person was nice to me. Right? Those are things that our eyes say. Person with an eye style, they tend to be charming. They're very collaborative. They love working with people. This is not your solo D driver personality. They want to work with people. They're energized and energizing. They trust lots of people. It's easy to build trust with an eye. They're enthusiastic, but they can be impulsive. Okay? And they're also very persuasive. Why? Because they can influence people. These are the people that are gifted with the gift of gab. Right? They do. Paula is her hand. Yep. Yeah, these are people who are persuasive. But remember, we have so many opportunities with eye clients. The funny thing is the most common DiSC style for a realtor is an ID.
It's the yes, what?
ID.
Not DI.
As a realtor.
Not DI.
DI is second, but it's ID.
I'm an ID.
It's the most common realtor thing. Why do you think that is?
Because we're in sales.
We're in sales. We're in networking.
Yeah.
We're in people pleasing.
Yeah.
Eyes are our people pleasers. They're customer service representatives, right?
They like to help. Solve.
Yes.
Yeah.
They love to help. They love to solve. They want to be collaborative. They want to be a part of things. They're the ones that will bring their aunts, uncles, best friends to the showings, right? They're the ones that'll bring their daughters, sisters, because they care about what they think. Because if grandma says she doesn't like the house, the eye doesn't like the house, right? So what's
then you have the deal breakers.
yeah. And again, they can feel very impulsive. Eyes are going to be your clients that are going to call you up and say, hey, I want to go take a look at this house in 15 minutes, right? Oh, I don't really love it, but I just really want to go take a look at it, right? Those are our eyes. Well, I know this one isn't exactly what we were looking for, but I still want to take a look at it because then I can just like see and feel. Right?
Yeah.
I drove by this house around my block and I saw that it was for sale and I really want to just go take a look at it. They're impulsive people. There also are people that say, yes, I'd love to write an offer right now. I'm so excited. Let's get this done. It's going to be awesome. And 24 hours later, they're going, you know, I just really didn't think about the fact that it has laminate flooring. And it's just a deal breaker for me.
And they're buying it.
Right? So it's important to understand that those are our eyes. Our goals with eyes will move from neighborhood to neighborhood, right? So it's important to understand like eyes are going to be more people. They're going to be people in the industry that are going to be more open to it, more life experiences. So if they say they're looking at a 3-bedroom, 4-bath in Rossmore, don't think that you can't show them something in Seal Beach, right? They'd be more willing to move to different areas. They're more flexible. They're very
Changeable.
Yes, yeah, they're very, you know, a lot more flexible. They're usually less concrete, but remember, at most of those decisions, their basis is their feelings and really other people's feelings around them. Okay? Who else lives there is questions they're gonna ask.
Yeah, right.
How's the neighborhood? Who
Why are
else
they
lives
leaving?
here? What is there fun to do around here, right? So when you're going on appointments with eyes, you need to make sure you embody all of that information. Oh, there's a school down the street. It's rated, you know, 8. out of 10 or whatever. You're giving them ratings. You're telling them, oh, there's a movie theater over there that does, you know, Tuesday $5 movie tickets. Those are things that you want to be prepared for with your eyes, because they're going to ask you that stuff. They're going to be looking on Yelp, right? Because they care about what other people think. What's the most popular blank in that area, right? They use the word I a lot. They're very self-absorbed. Okay, they will use the word I a lot. I feel, I think, I know, I want. Okay.
I need.
I need. And then you guys are going to see the secondary, an ID. They're going to be action, enthusiasm, results, collaboration, enthusiasm, and support for an IS. They're going to be very people. Okay. Ways to communicate like them. Share your experiences. Share your stories. These are the people you want to tell your horror stories to, or your good stories to. They want to hear agent testimonials or client testimonials. Okay. They want to hear what other people think. They may call references. Provide them references. Past clients, friends that you're very close with that you know won't care. Provide them to people. Let them call them. Allow them time to ask questions and talk themselves. Okay? These aren't the people when you're doing your listing presentation that you sit down and you talk for an hour. You be prepared to talk for 20 minutes because they want to talk to 40. Right? Okay. Focus on the positives. That's very important. Remember, they're very persuaded by their environment and feels. Avoid overloading them with details. They are not detail oriented. And then don't interrupt them. Let them speak, let them speak, let them speak. Even if it's 40 minutes long, don't interrupt their speech. Okay. S's. So I put a picture of a hippie on here because whenever I think about S's, I always think about my hippie peaceful people in the world, right? So S's are our steady people or steadiness. A good way to describe an S is someone that's like a river. They always flow and they go with the flow. And if there's rocks, they just kind of move around them. They're one of those personalities that never really gets too excitable. And they never really get too depressed and sad and introverted. They're a great middle. Steadies are our rocks. There are people we can lean on. They are very social. Don't get me wrong. They're not as introverted as a C is, or maybe even a D can be. But when you look at here at our S's, they have an emphasis on cooperating with others within existing circumstances to carry out the tasks. Remember, our S's aren't going to pave the way and push things out of the way. In fact, they're the people that will sit back and not say anything until you recognize them to speak. So when we're meeting with these clients, remember, if you're working with an S, they tend to be more soft-spoken and they tend to not speak their true feelings. Give them time to respond. Say some facts and data. Then Mohammed, how does that sound to you? And give them the floor to speak. Mohammed, do you have any questions? And you sit there on your hands. If you're an I or a D, and you shut your mouth and you listen and wait for Mohammed to say whatever he's going to say. Right? Our S's are going to say things like, I'm not sure. I need to think about it. It's okay. It's nice, right? Those are our S's. Have you guys heard any S's in your life say that? People you know? Yeah. But again, they have some of the best characteristics, I think. They're calm, they're patient, super predictable, very predictable. Okay? Deliberate, stable. That's important. Stable, they're warm, they're friendly. They're passive, but they're very loyal to you. Your S's are going to be those clients that are going to be with you for the rest of their life if you treat them correctly, right? Your S's are going to be the ones that don't have any hesitation generally to sign a buyer broker agreement because they'll understand the value of loyalty, right? So the goals we have, they're motivated by cooperation opportunities and to help, and they have sincere appreciation for that. So make sure that you're taking them along for the ride, that you are including them in decisions, that you are giving them ample time and thought, but that you're still providing some type of guidance with S's. Don't leave S's to their own devices. They will spiral.
Like gentle guidance.
Gentle guidance, not driver guidance, gentle guidance. Don't leave S's to their own self. You have to be checking in with them. S's, if we're going through the RPA and during a buyer's consultation, are going to be the ones that want to hear line by line. And they're going to want to hear you speak nice and slowly. They're going to want you to stop at every page and ask if they have any questions. Right? Right? They use the word you more often. Again, they're more centered around others than themselves. They value loyalty, helping others, and security. They want to know more about you. They are good conversationalists. They genuinely tend to be very interested in things that you're talking about and things that you're engaging with them in. Ways to communicate with them: be personable and amiable. Express your interest in them and what you expect from them. That's one of my biggest takeaways. Express the things that you need. Hey, Paula, over the weekend, I'm going to need you to fill out this, 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 and this. I'm going to check back in with you Saturday night to see how things are going. Right? By Monday, we will have all these tasks done. Give them time to finish things, but give them very specific steps to follow. They're going to be our list checkers as well. Okay? Express your interest in them and what you expect from them. Take time to provide clarification. Let them know what's going on. Again, explain with our S's. Avoid being confrontational, overly aggressive, or rude. Do you think a hard sale close will go over well with an S? No. Right? You want less aggressive, more warm and fuzzy, less aggressive tie downs. You can still do tie downs. We can still expect them to have some type of tie down, but we don't need to do a hard sell. Does this make sense to you? Do you have any other questions? Right? I'd like to circle back with you in 24 hours to let you think about this. Right? All those words are words we can use instead of a hard close on them. Okay, last one. C, conscientious, conscious, compliance. You'll see it many different ways. Again, it's said banana, tomato, tomato. It's all the same thing, right? People with the C's, these are our analysts of the world. These are our computer people of the world. These are our box checkers, our accountants, our engineers of the world, right? People with the C style place an emphasis on working consciously with existing circumstances to ensure quality and accuracy. They are the meticulous ones who will ask you what every word means on the RPA. What does this mean? I don't understand it. I Googled this. I looked at this. I found a housing checklist online. Right? A person with this, show me why you're asking me to do that. That's the best phrase to describe them. Show me why you're asking me to do this. They have to understand the motivation behind every decision that you are asking them to make. Right? Why did you send me these properties? Why did you not send me these properties? Those are questions that you're going to hear C's ask. A person with a C style tends to be more cautious. They're much more systematic. They're private. They're objective. They're analytical. Very diplomatic, systematic, accurate, and reserved. Can anyone think of any C's in their life?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes. These are the people that are going to check. They're your copyright people. They want to read your copyright to make sure that you've spelled words correctly and that you've put the punctuation in the correct place. Right?
And they will say that they are very private.
Yes, and they will say that they're very private.
Yeah.
These may be the clients that don't want pictures of their house online. Think about that. These could be our clients that say, I want you to take the photos down after you sell my home. These are the people that say, I don't want to let you into my home to stage this property. I don't want to let you into the home to do the showings.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I don't want people coming by to look at it.
I don't want people coming by to look at it. Yeah.
They might be the most challenged to make
Well-
sure that you know what you're dealing with. Would be a C, I think.
Well, and I think it really depends on what your personality is too. The
Right.
nice things about C's, they're so analytical. If you can provide the data that shows it's a smart move for them to move, to sell their house now, to buy this house, to look at the investment rates, to look at, they're the ones that will make a practical and confident, formal decision to move forward. They're not going to be your wild cards. C's are going to be your people. If you can provide them the right data, they will follow you. They will move with you. Right? C's are the people that say, so-and-so says they'll list my house for 1 million. You're telling me you'll only list it for 900. I'm going with this one. Number to number. Right? So our goals were C, they're motivated by opportunities to gain knowledge, showing their expertise and quality of work. A great question to ask a C is, what do you think about the market? What have you heard about the market? Where do you find your market data? This is a great conversation to have with a C. You're going to hear them bust out articles that they read last week, and they know every single word up, down, and every single number in that article, sideways, front, and back. Okay. Values, quality, and accuracy, show up on time. I cannot stress this enough. With D's and C's, you better not be late. And guess what on time means? 15 minutes early or 10 minutes early. You're on time, you're late.
And that's a D and a
C.
C.
Yes. D, you're wasting my time. C says, how unprofessional. Not gonna follow you. Do show up on time. When you have a listing appointment with them, show up. If you have a showing appointment with them, show up. Be on time, be prepared. Okay? Again, your quality of work. They are going to look at every little in and out of your listing presentation or any email that you're sending over. So double, triple check things that you're sending to a C. Right? Values, quality, and accuracy, shows up on time with might leave you and move on if they don't get the info they want. This is so common. Right? They might up and leave you. Why? They don't necessarily care about your feelings or if you like them, but they're not getting the results you promised or that they want or need from you. So they're going to move on. They're not going to have as much of a connection as a D, or I, or an S. They're going to sever all ties and move on to the next realtor. They're the hardest ones to get to sign buyer broker agreements. Right? You'll see the secondary style over there. Ways to communicate with them. Again, focus on the facts and the details. Know things like the square footage. Know things like when the house was built. Know those stats. Have those numbers readily available when you're showing a C a property. Okay. Minimize pep talk or emotional language. These are not the people we're just going to stick through it and it's going to be great. We're just going to keep writing offers. Don't get discouraged. Don't give up. Right? These are not our conversations we have with C people. So be patient, persistent, and diplomatic. Be very professional with C's. Okay. Cool. So now that we know more about, let me go back to this one page here. Now that we know more about the communication styles, do we have any ahas or insights about who we may encounter in the field based on the statistics on this slide? What are your ahas or insights?
I do have something.
Yeah, Gina.
I start to look at the different people that I've done business with, both even just in my short little time back in real estate here or in the past in other places. And the examples that you were giving bring up like, oh, wow, I think that person was an I or a C or something like that. And you start to think of like how you interacted with them and maybe what you did right or what you could have done differently. And also, I went through this DiSC assessment probably about 17 years ago. So I was familiar with this, but I haven't gone through it in a really long time. So it just looks really different to me now than it did then. And I feel like the way you have gone through this and explained it, that there is like, I feel like I have, I don't know the words to use, but the tangible tools to use and examples with people now that I don't think I had at that time, because I don't know if it wasn't like a class like this.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. And, one of the ways we can use this, and on the last slide, I do have a link. One of the best free resources to take the DiSC assessment is through the Tony Robbins site. I'm going to show you guys the QR code here at the end so you can scan and take it. But there are paid that are going to give you more in depth, and they'll add in extra behavioral traits and things like that. But honestly, I think the free one is accurate enough. But without taking the test, using the dialogue that we talked about today and the words that you heard today, it's actually pretty easy to work on and start to identify people just based on questions that we ask. Okay? So for example, let's go through some of the questions that we might ask during a buyer's consultation or a listing presentation to help identify the style of communicator that we're trying to sell to. Okay, I'm going to throw some questions out and then I want you guys to add in here. Okay, so what are some qualifying questions we can ask? Certain things like, hey, Paula, tell me about your home. Okay, the way Paula would describe her home is going to share with us which communication style she is. Right? The eyes are going to tell you, we've been in here for 14 years, and I put this wallpaper on last year that I found from Vogue. And then the C's are going to say it's 3,400.2 square feet, and it's 4-bed, 2-bathroom. And we did the remodel to the kitchen that cost $11,000, and that was back in 2019, right? They're going to be more of that C. The way they describe their home will tell you which category they go into. Right? Tell me about your home. Your family is another good one. Tell me about your family, right? Our conscientious people are going to say, well, my wife's a doctor, right? So they're going to start going to the facts. The D's are going to say, well, I've got 2 kids. It's awesome. Next question. The eyes are going to tell you, well, baby Brandy just started walking last week and we love each other. It's super cute, right? Our S's are going to take some time to even answer the question. And then they're going to look for you to approval of whether or not they answered it correctly to your likeness, right? Ask them to tell me about your work. Is another good one. What they do as a career or an occupation is pretty cut and dry, right? It's pretty cut and dry. It's like, hey, I'm a computer analyst. Wow, you really like systems and numbers probably. Great, you're probably a C, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a realtor. Well, you're probably an I or a D or some combination of that, right?
Yeah.
And or some C's. We actually have a lot of C's in here.
How
too.
about transaction coordinator? I think they have a lot of.
That's a good question. Okay, don't answer it.
Okay.
What do you guys think? Let's take a poll. Type it in the chat if you guys are on Zoom. What do you guys think a transaction coordinator's traits or the ideal transaction coordinator's trait would be? What style would they be?
C.
Why C?
Because they have to pay attention to a lot of things that they gotta get it done, a certain way.
Yes.
They're systematic, right?
Because they want to help please and care for the person they're working.
I would argue more of an S, right? Do our transaction coordinators enjoy conflict?
Which
No.
one are you referring to as
Yes.
S?
S,
Oh, the-
steady.
Oh.
Steady, smooth. There are water people. Transaction coordinators are there to kind of just move on through, right? They're just trying to get paperwork A to point C.
Unless you're dealing with Carla Fisher.
Oh, I know, again, there are plenty of exceptions to the rule, but generally, the main characteristic you would classify someone as a transaction coordinator would be a C. Again, they like lists, they like systems, they like using programs like DocuSign, right? So having someone tell you about their occupation will give a lot of insight to what category they are in. And by these qualifying questions and more, I'm telling you guys, you will know what they are before you even step foot around them or in their house, okay? Describe the perfect house for you. This is a great question. I always love to ask this. If it's an I and I know they're an I say, describe how your new house will feel to you, right? There are field people. Describe what your perfect house looks like. Your C's are gonna say the square footage, they're gonna say the bed bath, they're gonna say probably the street that they wanna live on, right? The S's are gonna say, I wanna move to a neighborhood that people feel warm or welcome, that has a good, steady, property values. Those are things that are gonna be important to them. What's your preferred method of communication? This is a good one. And you guys should all be asking your clients this one, okay? Listen up. If you only take one thing away from this, write it down and ask your clients every single time. Every time you meet with a client, what is your preferred method of communication? If we're not asking this question, it is not getting down to the heart of what I just sat here and talked about for 45 minutes, which is you want to communicate with them the way they want to communicate. So if I ask this question, how or what method would you like to be communicated with? What method of communication do you prefer? And I ask this to a D, what do you think they're going to say? Call them, text them, probably text,
Yeah, I think
texting.
that's-
I'd probably say texting, right? You ask this to an I, what's their response going to be?
I think
Call,
Call or email.
Or stop by.
not email, not email.
It's too much
I
information.
probably don't even know how to log in their email. I'm sorry, I can say that, but
They might
Right?
say,
it's such a loving way. I's most likely will want to FaceTime or call on the phone. They want to see you. They want to see you smile. They want to see what you're doing. FaceTime, Zoom. Don't forget about that. I's would love to do that. If they can't meet in person, they're going to want to do it on a Zoom. Okay. What about our S's? If we ask that question to our S's, what will their response be at S? Now that we know more about it. What's easier for you?
Yeah, that's
I'm
okay.
okay with multiple. I'm okay with anything. What's easiest for you,
That's easiest for you.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, they're gonna see those things. What's easiest for you? They might say call. Just don't forget when you're calling an S, give them time to talk. They won't talk over you. Give them time to talk. They won't talk over you. Okay. If it's a text, don't expect a response right away. They're gonna have to read it 2, 3, 4 times. Show it to their friend. Say, hey, what did they mean by this? Right?
Funny.
Right? Our S's. Give them whatever they need. Give them an idea. Our S's say, whatever is most easiest for you, what's a good response? Well, I hear that lots of clients, my clients, whatever, enjoy getting text messages or phone calls. Would that work for you? Give them a solution. Because they're going to respond with whatever's easier for you. So say, I mainly communicate with my clients via phone and via text. Is that okay with you? And then they'll probably say, yeah, that's fine. Right? What's the response with someone who's a C? What's going to be their response? We say, hey, what's your preferred method of communication? What's it going to be?
Email.
Would it be email?
Email, text, right? Short and to the point. Why do you think they probably want email? Because they want to be able to search everything you've ever sent them. They want to be able to type in up at the top, Halley Wright Real Estate, and have it pull every email up. They probably have a special folder that all your emails go into that's flagged important. Right? Emails they can manipulate. They can control. Right? So asking that question is really going to help you tell naturally what they are. What else could we do, or what other questions could we ask to help identify those around us or clients to help identify what category they go into? Do you guys have any other inputs or insights? What other questions could we ask to help identify who we're speaking to? Yeah, Teresa?
How do you feel about my presentation? Or how do you feel about the order that I just discussed?
Yeah, that's a good one. That'll tell you.
What was that?
And she said, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. How do you feel, about my presentation?
Mhm.
Or how do you feel about the order that I said we were going to do things or trying to
Mhm.
sell the house?
Yeah, that's a good one. Again, we talked about some of them. What are you hearing about the market? How do you feel about the market? That's a great question, right? Again, they're going to tell you certain things. We know the analysts and the C's are going to give us the numbers. The I's are going to say what market.
What are the D's gonna do?
Oh, the D's are going to be a lot more direct. Well, I heard it's a bad time to sell. They're not going to tell you where they heard it from. They're not going to say why. They're just going to tell you, I heard it's a bad time to sell. They're going to be more direct, right? Your S's are going to say, well, I've heard or I've read. What do you think about the market? Right? When you're having a sit down pricing conversation with these people, that's where that conversation is going to go. Do you think this is a good price? What price do you think I should list my home at? They're going to be a lot more influenced by your decision. So you need to make sure that they've got some time to think about it. Okay. Cool. So that's kind of it, you guys. Let me go to the last slide here so you can have that QR code that I made for you. So have most of you guys here in the room taken a DiSC profile? Do you know what your DiSC is?
It's on the hub too, isn't it?
Yes, it is also on the hub, but this is the same link. You can scan the QR code and take this. Yeah, come on up. Yeah, you're good. You guys can scan the QR code. Again, this is no plug because I'm not repped or branded by Tony Robbins whatsoever. He just has the best free DiSC profile for people to be able to take. It is pretty comprehensive, but just know, again, not affiliated with Tony Robbins whatsoever. I think it's just the best one. There are plenty out there, though. There are plenty of examples. And just like we talked about at the beginning of the class, there are paid versions that will be 10, 20 pages that you can read through and it'll give you a bunch more insights. But I do encourage you to take the DiSC. I do encourage you to practice and to flex this muscle of identifying those around you based on qualifying questions, okay? Start out by practicing with people that you know.
Yeah.
Like, what do you guys think that I am?
I think you're a D, for sure.
I think you're
No
So-
C's.
Some S in there, but not a lot of. I think you have a lot of S.
I think I
Am I right or not?
No, you guys did great. I am a high DI,
Yeah, that's what I said.
right? I'm that 9% of the world,
Yeah.
okay? I'm the person when we're in a group of people, I cannot wait to stand up and to tell everyone what to be doing.
And you do a good job.
So annoying, right? So annoying. Because I'm an I still really care about what you think, so. Right?
Seems
So-
perfect for this job.
Yeah, like what do you guys think Deborah is? Ooh, she's a good one. Why an S?
She's very
Yes,
reserved.
yes. But she also has a very high C in there. She loves to say, Hallie, why are we doing this?
Why are we doing this?
Why is the chair right here? right?
Okay.
Right. Deborah's very smooth. She's very loyal, very easy to rely on. She's always going to be there to support you guys. Right? She's the person that picks up her phone at 8, 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah. she does.
Yeah. Doesn't she?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, but she was at dinner, she's like, "Can I come back?" I'm like, I need this now.
Yeah. But use this practice, use what we took today. I did record it. I will put it up on our YouTube channel. If you haven't taken the DiSC or even haven't taken it recently, remember your DiSC profile can change a little bit. You know, we do also have 2 styles. We have a natural style. We do have an adaptive style. Our adaptive style is the one that we are really able to control. That tends to be our work style, our forward-facing style, right? Adaptive means we can change and adapt the behaviors. Our natural style is what we're going to be in the most natural state that we are, aka who we are at home with our slippers on, with our family, having dinner, what that just natural style is. You can have 2 different styles, right? But if you're taking a test that has an adaptive style and natural style, remember when you're selling, when you're doing real estate, focus on your adaptive style. That's what we can truly control. But you guys go take the test, practice and flex that muscle of trying to identify those around you, your colleagues, your clients, your loved ones. If you're married, have your spouses take them, have your kids take them. If you guys have children, it will help you with your parenting
I
and
think it's fun.
communication.
I think
Yes,
it's fun.
yes. Olga was able to identify her daughter right away. And I
Oh,
think that's
and
great.
the other 2.
Yes, yes, I think that's great. But you guys, thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully you learned a little bit more about the DiSC profile than you knew before. And again, apply all of these things because ultimately it's going to lead to more satisfaction with our jobs, with ourselves, and build better relationships with our clients. Okay? Cool. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone on Zoom.
Thanks, Halley.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
That you were doing this on Zoom as well, so like these guys are at home.
Yes.
So some of these classes, we can do them at home?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
on the schedule, it'll say in person only, or